Hey guys, how is everyone doing? This is Nick from forexfornoobs.com with the daily analysis. This is a webinar. It's going out live. It's live for members only, but this recording is going to be posted publicly, so people can watch it after the analysis is done. So let's get into it. In today's analysis, we're going to be looking for setups across all of these pairs here. And we're going to be looking for price action setups. So that's continuations, that's reversals, all kinds of setups really. Let's get started. Can you guys hear me okay? No one said hi, so I just want to double check that you guys can hear me. All right, cool. Awesome. So let's get into it. Right, EURGBP. I'm going to kick things off with EURGBP. Now, last week we took a trade on EURGBP. Trade worked out really well. Well, for me, it didn't work out as well as I would have wanted because, well, as I explained, I didn't get out of bed to extend my target. So I wanted to extend my target on this trade because it was moving fast. I didn't get out of bed to extend my target, so boom, just took me out with 1.5. So it was a profitable trade, just didn't go as well as I would have wanted. I would have wanted to extend my target down to this support area where it's stalling right now. But you know what? It doesn't really matter. It was a profitable trade. I made the decision to not get out of bed because it happened at like 4 a.m. in the morning. Just couldn't be bothered. I just thought I'll take the profit anyway. So we talked about this trade in I did a short little webinar on Friday to explain correlation trading. So basically how to handle correlations, because we took trades across these three pairs, EURGBP, GBPAUD and GBPUSD. They were all correlated. Now, some people didn't take all of them because of the correlation, but I took all of them specifically because of the correlation. The correlation improves the chances of getting successful trades because you're spreading your risk over three different pairs. Anyway, watch the video for a breakdown on that. It's on my YouTube channel. On extending targets, why not using a maximum target and timing it if price is moving slowly? Well, because then if I set my maximum target at 2, for example, and I'm asleep, the alarm triggers. If I don't get up, then I could miss out on that trade. The original target is set where it is because that's where I think price is going to struggle. More often than not, it is where it struggles. So that's why my target is there. Now in the few times when it doesn't struggle, that's when I need to extend my target. But if I have my target, a wide target every single time, then I need to be more on the ball with getting back to my charts every time it gets to a point where it's going to struggle. I mean, it all depends on you. If you know that you can get out of bed at 4 a.m. to manage your trades, then you might want to do it that way. Personally, I don't. I used to, but these days I've been trading long enough where I really I'm happy with my targets. I know when I'm on track for the year. I know when my profit is good, and I know that I don't need to get out of bed to chase an extra few pips on a trade. So it's up to you how you manage your trades. I prefer to manage it that way. I set my target. I set an alarm before my target, and then I'll extend it if I want to. Right. Oh, so we also had a trade on GBPAUD. This one went well too. Nice, strong bullish move. How'd you guys do on this one? I can't remember who entered this one. I think some of you guys. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Who cares? I don't want to keep talking about trades from last week. These trades worked out well. Right now, with GBPAUD, it's pushing back up to this resistance area. So let me explain in a bit of detail what happened here with GBPAUD. So GBPAUD was stuck in a bit of a range for a little while. So it was moving sideways in this range for a little while. Eventually, last week, it broke out of the range, went boom, and it shot down. Hit this support area. This was a strong support area, so we took a long from this support area. Now, that long worked out well, but now what it's doing is it's heading back towards the what was formerly the bottom of that range. So now it's looks to be stalling out on what was formerly support and is now resistance. This area here is now a resistance area. This is the 176.45, 1.7645. So price is stalling out on this resistance area. It's just popped up to it recently. Yeah, and it's already showing signs of stalling out. So I want to keep a very close eye on this one. This one has some potential. Overall, this pair is trending down. So this would be a trade in line. If we were to short from this resistance area, it would be in line with this overall trend. Yeah, it has potential. It looks like it could be a really good setup. Also, because when you look to the left, there's not really many points where price can stall here. I mean, maybe through here a little bit, but there's nothing major or significant. Last two times price has moved through this area here, it has moved through smoothly. So that time and that time, it moved through smoothly with very little snags. So a short from here, if we get the right setup forming, would be ideal because there's not much in its way. It's in line with the trend. The resistance area is pretty decent. Not the strongest resistance area, but it's pretty decent. So yeah, let's see how this one goes. I'll be looking for some indecision to form on this resistance area. This trade definitely has potential. EURGBP, by the way, I'm not looking for a long from here. Sorry, we're a bit mixed up with the order of the analysis. It's just because we were talking about last week's trades. So I just want to go back to EURGBP real quick and explain why I'm not going to go long here. I just don't see a good risk to reward ratio on EURGBP at the moment. If you look at EURGBP, this high, this resistance area here, the 0.9000, aside from the fact that it is a strong psychological level, it is also a one-year high. So this is a very significant high here on EURGBP. It's a one-year high, and since getting below here last year, or was that last year? Or was that? Yeah, definitely last year. So it was about a year ago. It dropped below. It's tried to get back up several times, and it's failed 3 times there, and then it failed recently here. So price right now is stalling on this support area. So you could argue, okay, there might be potential to go on long here, but also, you know, it could be stalling out and then going short. We don't know yet what direction it's going to go. We still need to wait for that to clear up. But if it starts moving in a bullish direction, I'm not going to jump in long on this one because of this major resistance area up here. The risk to reward ratio just isn't good with this. So let's say I want to get my entry above that high, and let's say I want to put even a tight stop loss in. So this stop loss is way too tight, obviously, because price has just broken below there. It's way, way, way too tight of a stop loss. But even then, my risk to reward ratio is 1.6 at the next resistance area. And this isn't any small, tiny resistance area. This is a major, major resistance area. It's a yearly high. It's a psychological level. It's an area that's held price back 4 times already. So, you know, I'm not that crazy about the idea of jumping in on this one. If I wanted to go long here, I'd want my target to be at least 1 to 2. And if I get a 1 to 2 target, it's got to be beyond this resistance area. Not to mention that at this point, the stop loss, this stop loss here would be just absolutely tiny. You'd need a bigger stop. It just doesn't look good anymore, guys. I'm just not interested in EURGBP. So I just want to clear that up because I've had a few questions about EURGBP. So I just want to explain my reasoning for not wanting to get into this one. But GBP AUD on the other hand, this one has some potential. So we're looking for a short here. GBP USD, a few of you have mentioned getting in long here. Oops, I messed up the support resistance area there. I'm not really that interested in a long here. I really don't see a resistance area, a support area rather down here. I don't see a strong support area down here. I see resistance up here, which is actually working quite well as resistance because price is just broken below, come back up and is bouncing away from it. I don't really see a good long up here. I think this area for support resistance is very iffy, but definitely if I had to place a support or resistance area, it would be this one here based on all those bounces there. And this is well below that support area, which has now become resistance, and price is stalling there. So I'm not really looking for a long here on GBP USD. AUDUSD, now here I am more interested in looking for a long. So I'm going to mark this one. Price has dropped down to this support area. This is a good support area. It hasn't been down here for a while, but it's, well, actually, sorry. I was confusing this one with the lower support area. This isn't a good support area. It's a medium, it's an average or slightly below average support area, let's say. It's not the best support area. My bad. I was mixing it up with this lower one, which is a very strong one. But this one up here, you know, it's somewhat decent. It's had a few bounces in the past, but it's not a major support area. But price is stalling there right now. So, you know, it has some potential. Look, point is, let's keep an eye on it. Let's see what happens here. Price is stalling out here. It's just broken out of that range. So a lot of the times when price breaks out of a tight range like we have here, what it'll do is it'll break out and then it'll get sucked back in because ranges are kind of like vacuums. So price manages to pull out of the range and then just goes boom back in. So I would not be surprised if we see that. But also I wouldn't be surprised if it continues down. So I know that leaves things pretty vague, but a lot of the times in trading, things can go either way. So what we need to do is we just need to wait for things to clear up. So right now, what we're seeing here on AUDUSD is we're seeing signs that price is stalling at this support area. Price is stalling, can't really get through this support area. It's really struggling at this area. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait for at least this current 12-hour candle to close, but ideally the daily candle to close. And we're going to look for a potential long here. If everything closes well and price starts to push up, there could be potential to jump in long. So let's keep an eye on AUDUSD. EURUSD, very similar situation. Price stalling out at this support area. This one is a bit trickier on the entry because it gapped lower at the start of the week and then it shot up. So this one, the entry is just a tad tricky. Decent support resistance area. Let's keep an eye on this one too. I mean, right now, like I said, getting an entry on this one would be tricky, but it is showing signs of stalling at this support area. So there's always potential to get in on a long here. So it looks somewhat decent. We just need to, again, wait and see. I want to see what happens, how this candle closes. So these setups probably won't trigger until tomorrow. So I would say at least 24 hours. I want to wait and see what happens here. New Zealand USD. Now this one has already triggered for me. I shared this one with you guys on the forum last night. This one triggered while I was asleep. I had a pending set, so triggered while I was asleep. It's a simple setup. I'm in long here. I have a very tight target at the moment, but I am looking to extend that target depending on what happens. This is a counter trend trade, so it is in essence a risky trade. Anything that's counter to such a strong trend, and this is a strong trend on New Zealand USD, has some element of risk. That being said, you know, there's always potential to get a good counter trend trade. I mean, you just have to look at this. See, so there was potential to go on long here. Again, here, potential to go on long there. So just because you're trading counter trend, it doesn't mean it's not going to work out. There's always a bit of risk involved, a bit extra risk, but you know, counter trend trading can be profitable if you do things right. So I'm long in this counter trend trade right now. It's not going that well right now, but I mean, it's just triggered. So this happens a lot. My target is at 0.6683. So that's a 1.5 risk reward ratio right now. I am looking to extend that, just depending on how price moves. So if price starts shooting up to here really quickly in the coming hours, and there's a lot of bullish momentum, I'll extend my target because of that momentum. If price over the next week just slowly crawls up to here, then I won't be extending that target. It just really depends on what we see, how price reacts. So long on New Zealand USD, EURGBP, not doing much there, guys. If you wanted to jump in long, you know, that trade triggered earlier in the week. AUDJPY has broken below support. It's now just kind of like stalling on support. There is a potential long here, but I just don't really think this is a safe trade, guys. It's just that indecision candle is just so huge. It makes getting a good stop and a good entry just really tricky. I'm not going to do anything with AUDJPY. AUD New Zealand, this is just it's just not looking good right now. There's no setups here. There's nothing clear here. Nothing I'd want to really trade here. Euro AUD, yeah, nothing much here either, guys. Euro CAD has shot below the support area, so we need some support resistance for Euro CAD. Yeah, I guess it's not the best area, but let's see what happens when it hits that area. That's the one I just placed is at the 148.60. We'll see what happens when it hits it. GBPJPY. Yeah, nothing much going on here, guys. It's just stalling out like all the GBP pairs. Looks like it's turning around. USD CAD stalling out at this resistance area, but it's broken above it. So yeah, again here, things are just really unclear. I'm not that interested in trading there. USD CHF is just ranging. It's just getting tighter and tighter into this wedge that we're seeing here. So I don't really trade wedges, but you know, it's impossible not to see them sometimes. So it's just falling tighter and tighter into this wedge. You know, it could break out at some point, or it could not break out. Just one sec. I just want to check out the hourly real quick. Yeah. No, there's not much potential here. I'm not going to do anything with USD CHF, guys. USD JPY. I mean, this one is a little bit tricky too. Look, we have enough on our plate with GBP AUD, AUD USD, Euro USD, and New Zealand USD. These are pairs that aren't looking fantastic right now. I'm not going to do anything with them because I'm going to focus on these others. When you have stronger setups, don't look for the weak, crappy ones. Essentially, that's my rule of thumb. We have some stronger setups forming on the USD pairs, on the majors. I'm not going to look for weaker setups on the crosses, or I'm not going to force weaker setups on the crosses rather. So I think that wraps things up for the analysis, guys. We're looking for potential long on AUD USD, potential long on Euro USD, potential, well, no, this one's already in, so I guess it's a triggered long on New Zealand USD, and GBP AUD, we're looking for a potential short from the resistance area. Any questions? Hey Quad, I'm sorry I didn't see you say hi. And Frank, hello. Anything on Euro New Zealand? Oh, man, that is such a weird pair. I hate these New Zealand crosses. No, nothing really, man. It's hit this resistance area. It's pushing away from it. If you wanted to be in short, you should have been in short already. I don't see much potential for a short right now on this pair. Or a long. I don't see anything. The short was from here. It's like a clear short reversal trade. Wasn't a great setup because it was clear that it was going to stall out around about here based on the previous stalls here, and that's exactly where it's stalling. But it seems to be working its way through that. So if you're short, do hold on to that. It looks like it could make a run down to the support area. But yeah, there's nothing imminent on this pair. It's early in the week. We have a few interesting things happening early in the week. Usually it takes a little bit longer for stuff to start happening. So let's keep an eye on these ones. I mean, totally possible for price not to stall here. It's stalling right now, but just because it's stalling right now, it doesn't mean it's going to keep stalling. If it continues to stall and we get some indecision forming, then I'm going to start looking for a long. So these are probably not going to trigger until at the earliest tomorrow, with the exception of New Zealand USD, which is already triggered. But AUDUSD, EURUSD, and GBPAUD, these aren't going to trigger, in my opinion, until tomorrow at the earliest. So don't rush into these. Don't just jump in because it looks like it's stalling. We need to get some confirmation. We need to get a bit of a reversal happening. Doesn't look like there's any questions, guys, so I'm going to wrap this one up. Thank you guys for attending, and I'll see you for tomorrow's webinar, which should be at the same time.